What up, though? It's your boy Meech, aka the Siage Saint. Hope everyone's doing well. Time for another fragrance video, and today we are going to do a fragrance rotation video where I break down the fragrances that I wore in a given week. In this video, we're going to talk about the fragrances that I wore the week of Sunday, October 20th. It was a very busy week for me. I went to work a couple of days. I was outside for a couple of days. So I wore 8 fragrances during the week. So we'll talk about that, of course, in this video. I generally don't do fragrance rotation videos in consecutive weeks, but because I wore a lot of fragrances either for the first time or fragrances that I haven't talked about a ton on my channel this week, I thought it was worthwhile, or last week, I thought it was worthwhile to do a fragrance rotation video for a second week in a row. I also did something for the very first time in my fragrance journey in this particular week. So we'll talk about that right now. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we're actually going to start this fragrance rotation off on Monday. I did not wear fragrance Sunday of this particular week. Kind of just chilled in the house, watched football, enjoyed the day. So I didn't put a fragrance on, and that's okay. We have those type of days. But on Monday, we kind of got an unseasonably warm day for almost late October. It was around 80 degrees on Monday. So I decided to put on something that I would normally reserve, for the warm weather months, kind of getting that one last hurrah before it starts to get really cold. I have a decant of Bulgari's Tiger, and that was my wear on Monday. And this is a fragrance that is fantastic, very simple in its note breakdown, but a fantastic fragrance. You get this grapefruit, citric vibe. I think ginger is a listed note in this fragrance as well. It's woody, it's musky. You have some ambroxan to give this a push. This is a great fragrance. Here's what I'll say. If you have any version of Bulgari Tiger, whether it be Tarati Blue or Black Panther by Alexandria Fragrances, which I have a 5 ml decant of that. If you have any of those versions of this fragrance, you're good. I got this decant from scent manufacturers who I've talked about on my channel in the past. I kind of get fragrances here and there, especially the more expensive ones. I get decants from them quite a bit, but this fragrance is very expensive. I think Bulgari Tiger is like $300 or more, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't check the price prior to starting this recording, but it's expensive. So if you have those alternatives, they come pretty close to this scent DNA. Like I said, I have Black Panther by Alexandria, and when I smell this and Tiger side by side, I mean, I really can't tell huge differences. This, of course, is probably a better quality of fragrance, but outside of that, the scent profiles are pretty much on par with one another. So this was my wear on Monday, an unseasonably warm day. It was a great day to wear Bulgari's Tiger. All right, on Tuesday, I actually did not put on a fragrance until the evening. And so I decided to wear a fragrance that I actually didn't even realize I had this decant of the fragrance until I was kind of just going through stuff, trying to figure out what to wear. I had went to the gym, showered, freshened up, and I decided to put on the fragrance in the evening. On Tuesday, I wore Spice Bomb Night Vision, and I got this decant as kind of a throw-in. I bought a fragrance from a seller in a Facebook fragrance group that I'm in, and he kind of threw this one in, and a Lacoste fragrance as well. I think it's L1212 Blanc was what I got, along with the full bottle that I purchased and Spice Bomb Night Vision. Now, I couldn't determine if this was the EDT or the EDP until Saturday. I went to Sephora and actually put my nose on Spice Bomb Night Vision EDP, and I'm pretty sure this is the EDP version of the fragrance. So you get this, fresh, spicy, aromatic accord, but the standout note to me is this green apple that you get in this fragrance. Gives you this kind of fruity type of sweetness that just makes this fragrance really mass appealing. I understand why this has so much mass appeal. Very different than, the OG Spice Bomb Extreme. It goes on a completely different path than those two fragrances. But this is a great fragrance, man. I think it's full bottle worthy. I've actually added it to my list of fragrances to own here down the road. I think for evenings out, bar, club, date nights, things like that, it has that type of appeal. I kind of look at it like I would look at a fragrance like a Versace Eros or like Afnan 9 p.m. It kind of has, that type of utility. But I definitely enjoy wearing this on Tuesday. I got a compliment wearing it as well. On Tuesday, I wore Spice Bomb Night Vision, and I'm pretty sure it's the EDP. All right, Wednesday was an in-office day for me at work, so I decided to wear a fragrance that I purchased back in the spring. I have not worn it a ton. I've maybe worn it once or twice, but definitely had plans to revisit this as we approach the fall and the winter months. I definitely had this eyeballed when I knew that I was going to be in the office several days in October. I kind of penciled this in as a fragrance to wear to the office, and I wore it on Wednesday. We are talking about Celerio Elysium by Dumont. And shout out to my man Gator, the novice knows. This is always a featured bottle in his videos. But this is a good fragrance, man. I was shocked. I got 3 compliments at work wearing this fragrance on Wednesday. So this is a clone of Ormond James Mont Tobacco Intensivo. And this is a tobacco-centric fragrance, but it has a lot of versatility for a tobacco-forward fragrance. Most of my tobacco scents, I'm wearing this time of year. In the cooler weather months, they're more situational type of wears. But Celerio Elysium definitely has some versatility. You get that juniper berry at the top. Then you get that magnolia that also gives this kind of like a lemon, I guess, type of twang to the fragrance. Because when I initially smell it, I always like, oh, it has lemon in it. But it's actually not a listed note, but magnolia can give you that lemony type of vibe. So those notes kind of give this that versatility. Then you get the tobacco and the woody aspects of this fragrance as it dries down. I was surprised at the compliment factor this fragrance has, but again, I hadn't really worn this around other people. So having an opportunity to wear this to work, I saw that people like it. So on Wednesday, I went with Celerio Elysium by Dumont. All right, on Thursday, I wore 2 fragrances. I was back in the office again for a second day in office in regards to work. So during the day, I wore L'Homme Ideal EDT by Guerlain. You guys have seen this fragrance featured in some videos here over the course of the last couple of months because I absolutely love this juice. This is a fantastic smelling fragrance. You get those almond accords with the spice and the leather aspects of this fragrance. I absolutely love the scent DNA. Where this fragrance may lack, and it could be because it's an EDT, is that the longevity for me is kind of 4 to 5 hours. Even spraying on clothes, I get like 4 to 5 hours. I may be able to squeeze out 6, but for the most part, I'm in the 4 to 6 hour range with this fragrance, which is okay for me. I know that might not be okay for some, but I'm cool with that. I was in the office around that amount of time anyway, so it served its purpose in that regard. But this is a mature scent. I've talked about that in the past. I think most people who rock with this are probably going to be over 30, over 35, but it smells very classy, luxurious, great fragrance in that regard. And on Thursday during the day, I wore L'Homme Ideal EDT by Guerlain. All right, Thursday evening, I was back home from the office. I was recording some content, and I featured this fragrance in the content that I recorded. And I was like, okay, this is a sign. I need to wear this. It's a fragrance that I feel like I need to wear more anyway. And it's definitely a fragrance that is perfect for this time of year. On Thursday evening, I wore Starman Nebula by Fragrance World. And this is a fragrance that is an interpretation of the discontinued Amen Pure Malt by Mugler. What this is, this warm, boozy, sweet fragrance. It has some vanillic aspects to this fragrance. I think there's a coffee accord in here as well, but this is a nice smelling fragrance. It just is, kind of a bit sensual, a bit sexy with that boozy sweetness. I think it's great for evenings in particular. Could you wear it during the day? I guess you could. I generally wear it in the evening time. And because L'Homme Ideal had wore off, freshened up in the evening and decided to throw this on. It is a nice boozy fall fragrance. I just love the way the vibe this gives me when I wear it. It was a great wear Thursday evening. Again, Starman Nebula by Fragrance World. All right, so Friday was the start of what was a fun-filled weekend. I had a great weekend out and about doing a variety of different things. On Friday, I attended this event called R&B Only. I don't know if anybody has ever gone to one of those, but essentially it's kind of like a R&B like sing along. You have a DJ on stage and this hype man, and they just go through songs from all different eras of like R&B music. So it was a really cool event. Before that, I went and grabbed some food and some drinks, and the fragrance that I decided to wear for the occasion was Versace Eros Flame, and this is a banger, absolute banger. The venue was kind of like a standing room only type of venue, so it's kind of like a club type of vibe to the venue. And this is a fragrance that nights out, evenings out, clubs, partying, things like that. This is the type of fragrance you want to wear for those occasions. When I got in line, there was two girls in front of me, two women, I should say, in front of me. And one of them was like, dang, somebody came in this line smelling good. And I did, because this is a good smelling fragrance. You get that orange on the top, you get that spice, and then the vanilla that you get in the dry down of this fragrance is really, really nice. This is a banger for evenings out, date nights, bar, club, partying, whatever you're into. This is a good one, man, to wear for those occasions. And I wore it on Friday, Versace Eros Flame. All right, and to wrap the week up, on Saturday, I went to brunch. I did some shopping downtown Detroit. I was just kind of out and about, enjoying the day, enjoying the weather. It was kind of like a upper 50, low 60 degree day. And I did something for the first time ever in my fragrance journey. I actually layered fragrances on Saturday. So I wore two fragrances at the same damn time on Saturday. So I wore a new decant that I have of Tom Ford's Eau d'Ambre Leather. I just recorded a Cop It or Drop It video. I posted that on my channel yesterday at the time of this recording. So if you want to check out some more detailed information on this fragrance, check out that video. And I layered it with essentially a Tom Ford inspiration, and that is Charuto Tobacco Vanille by Pandora Scents, which is a part of Paris Corner. This is a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille clone. So we had Eau d'Ambre Leather and essentially Tobacco Vanille. So let's talk about Eau d'Ambre Leather. This is very different than the other versions of Ambre Leather. You don't get any of the the violet leaf accords that you get in those other versions of the fragrance. This is strictly a leather, spicy, vanillic fragrance. They added vanilla to the fragrance, which is absolutely my vibe. I'm a big vanilla fan. You couple that with some spice and some leather, and you got me hooked. This is definitely a full bottle worthy fragrance. You can learn a little bit more about that in my Cop It or Drop It video. Charuto Tobacco Vanille kind of added a bit more spice, a bit more of the baked spice, that tobacco, of course, that dried fruit accord, and that vanillic sweetness. It was a banging combination. It lasted me. My lunch or brunch reservation was at like noon. I got back home about 6:30 because I wanted to get home to see Michigan versus Michigan State, go blue. We pulled that game out. So I wanted to get back in time to see that. So I was out 6 hours or so, and I was still getting whiffs of that combination after I got home. I smelled it on my hoodie that I wore the next morning. So the longevity worked. It definitely did what I wanted it to do because I spent most of the day in the cold, and I was getting whiffs of both fragrances as I was out and about moving in the cold. So on Saturday, I wore the combination of Eau d'Ambre Leather by Tom Ford and Charuto Tobacco Vanille by Pandora Scents. Well, there you have it, guys. My fragrance rotation for the week of Sunday, October 20th. I thought it was a really solid rotation, which is why I did this video for the second week in a row. What fragrances did you wear during the week? Feel free to throw those in the comment section. I'd love to hear about them. Be sure to subscribe to my social media for more. Please like, subscribe, do all of those things as we continue to make this channel grow. That will be greatly appreciated. Once again, your boy Meech, aka the CI Saint. Until next time, take care. Peace.